Hey guys, and welcome back to Luigi's Mansion 2 Dark Moon. Doing fairly well in the gloomy manner so far. 2 gold ranks, 1 silver. Pretty balanced.
Yeah, it's going pretty well. It's definitely going better than my first run.
Well, this is very clearly not my first run, otherwise it would just be bronze, bronze, bronze. Ever encounter any spirit balls in your house?
No, I don't think so. Nothing quite like that.
Just ghosts standing at the foot of your stairs, real?
Yeah, pretty much.
No fireflies or anything of that sort?
No, don't think so.
Okay.
Trust me, you'd be even more freaked out if I started going into the stuff that my cousins experience.
Well, please do, mate, because, you know, we've got to fill time before we can actually get back into the mansion proper.
Well, one of my cousins in their old house, he used to kind of wake up and complain that there were nuns in his room. And my auntie and uncle later found out that their house was built on the site of an old convent.
Okay.
So there was no way he would have known that there were nuns there.
Did he happen to live in a monastery and just forgot that every night when he went to sleep?
Nope.
Okay.
And then my other cousin, same family, one day they were driving past a house and then she pointed to it and said that that's where this particular person lived. She'd never heard of this person before in her life, and somehow she knew exactly where she lived. And then my auntie and uncle showed her a photo, and then she was able to point out the woman in the photo, and there was no way she could have known. And so, yeah, so I believe in the paranormal.
Okay, fair enough, man. And, you know, just to paraphrase or clarify or whatever, preempt, I guess, it's perfectly fine if you don't agree, because obviously this is very objective stuff. Richie has very little proof. I think he's crazy. He's stupid. His stories are boring. Sorry, I kind of went against my own rules there. I apologise, but no.
Darn it, Tom.
It's perfectly fine if you don't believe it. It's cool.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's something that people have been wondering about for centuries and centuries and centuries, so...
It's like, are boos real? You know, is King Boo loitering about in my toilet or something? Who knows? Can't prove it. Now, there's going to be a bit of a ethereal flim-flammery in this part. Not just due to the spirit balls and the like, but we've got to deal with the hiders again, I'm afraid.
Damn those hiders.
Yes, we interrupt the flow of this commentary to bring you another set piece.
You're not going to let me live that one down, are you?
Never, no. Now we have 2 levels of suckitude. Oh yes, much easier to capture ghosts. Also, much easier to get gold bars and the like this.
Oh, definitely.
There we go. Got it right eventually.
Also, I see a banana.
Really? Like, who throws a banana, honestly?
The garbage ghosts from the last game.
That's true, actually. Yeah, the greens, yeah. Funny how the greens would be so small this time around when they were so big in the first game.
Oh god, I hated them in the first game. They just got they were just so big, so they took up so much room, and then the bananas, and it was like, oh.
Yeah, Richie is also allergic to potassium, so there's another level of scare on there. He's not allergic to potassium. I'm just making a little jokey joke right now. But, actually, if you think about it, the ghosts in the first game, and this is actually very stupid for me to say, so bear with me. The ghosts in the first game weren't real. They were created by, spoilers, King Boo and the other Boos. The ghosts in this game, the ghosts of Evershade Valley, are real. That's why they have, like, pupils and the like. And when the Dark Moon was shattered, they went all evil and whatnot. That's why they look so different to the ones in the first game.
Makes sense. It also just proves that King Boo is even more of a dick.
I kind of want to say it goes with the territory, but that would be racist against Boos, and, you know, they're a key demographic for Hellfire Comms, and I don't want to lose that.
Very true.
Oh no, how will we ever tell the time now?
We'll just make sure the EGAD invents the Polter Watch.
Yes, the Polter Watch, nice.
It's basically like an Apple iWatch, except that it can suck in ghosts.
You joke about that? Buy one that has a gadget in Luigi's Mansion 3.
That would be pretty awesome.
Actually, this is kind of fan wankery, I will admit. I had, not dreams, but ideas about Luigi's Mansion 2 before it was announced. Obviously, it was going to be not a handheld game, but a kind of like a Resident Evil 5-esque co-op adventure, or at least optional co-op with EGAD, where you go through like mansions and shit. The whole mansions thing, I and everyone else and their mother called well before the game was ever unveiled, but just a little bit of a NTOM trivia for you there.
Well, I mean, kind of the whole mansions thing is just a great way of creating progress throughout the series, if this does ever get a third game, because it's expanding.
Yeah.
I mean, this game is so much longer than the first one.
I will say I can see where people are coming from, where they dislike the whole mission structure, and the way they've kind of, I don't want to say devolved, but downgraded the progression to kind of like a Super Mario Bros.-esque feel of Mansion 1, Mansion 2, you know, normal mansion, grass mansion, sand mansion, ice mansion, etc.
I mean, I'm one of those people who dislike this mission structure thing, in the sense of it makes going through the mansions feel even more backtracky than they really should. And I hate backtracking.
I think a good compromise, if, the metaphorical third game would be, maybe, have the structure of the first game, but with, like, optional missions.
Yes, I think that would work. I mean, also, basically, I would say that a good idea would be have the areas like in the first game, but have them as sort of full mansions, but slightly smaller, maybe. So maybe the size of these mansions.
Yeah.
But you get to go through the entire thing in one fell swoop and save at different points in it if you want to.
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
But obviously you'd only be able to do that on a home console and not on a portable.
Yeah. But you got to be careful with these spirit balls, because you can actually take damage if you run into them. So you got to manoeuvre yourself very carefully when sucking them into the poltergust. Oh, the animations in this game, so precious.
They're also so good.
Well, precious is a synonym for good in my world. Unless I'm using it to disparage someone, like, oh, you and your precious opinions, then I just become very passive-aggressive, but you should all know this by now. The lighting in this game is fantastically good for a handheld title, I gotta say.
Oh god, definitely. I think overall the presentation of this game is just amazing. And considering this was sort of early-ish on in the 3DS's lifespan.
I would say like mid.
Yeah.
Mid-ish, maybe.
Yeah. It just looks phenomenal, and it just goes to show kind of what the 3DS can do, and games that are coming out now or in the future are proving even more what it can do. I mean, the fact that Xenoblade Chronicles is coming to the 3DS, admittedly the new 3DS.
Yeah.
But the fact that that's happening just shows how good the 3DS is.
I will say you'll never get Xenoblade Chronicles 3DS running on a regular 3DS. They literally needed the upgraded RAM to be able to do that, so, yeah. This is what we like to call an optional minigame, and just decided to backtrack to show it off. This one's pretty easy. You just have to use the dark light to uncover the hidden thingamabob treasure chest, to use its actual name, and just collect an extra bit of treasure.
Pretty much these are absolutely paramount if you want to get the highest ranks, because they are what give you all of the money. There's one in a later mansion, which I remember, which involves shooting things, and that was like my worst nightmare because I could never get the hang of the targeting and shooting.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that when we get to that, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Also, you're not gonna go and bring back that other statue that was in that room?
No.
Well, it's going to reappear by the next mission anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I think it's kind of reset. I don't know whether that's the ghost just having a bit of a giggle, or EGAD and his army of toads, who we'll also see later in the game, come and just like reset stuff, but what are you going to do?
I don't think there are any toads in Glooby Manor, although there might be one in a much later mission, but there aren't really that many.
No. I guess they did the job of installing all the cameras and whatnot, so people can get around via the pixel shift system, and then just moved on to later mansions.
Yeah, and also, EGAD did seem to use the ghosts as help, more so than the toads. And so he got rid of the toads because Ghost Label was so much better.
Yeah. Also, he doesn't have to pay ghosts because they have no worldly desires.
Pretty much.
Oh, glorious. Absolutely glorious. What can I say? I'm a fiend for collecting treasure.
Well, it's always so much fun.
You see so much more of the outside in this game than you do in the first one. I think you went maybe into the backyard, into a graveyard, and there were like certain sections where you were like on the veranda, watering plants and the like.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. But then I guess because you were just in a single mansion, you didn't really need to see that much outside of it.
Yeah.
Whereas here, because you go into more mansions and a lot more variety of locales, there's more reason to show outside locations.
Don't know what that thing is in the tank, but I'm just gonna leave it there to rot.
I'd assume it's something like a piranha, maybe.
Well, you could have had a Cheep in there if you're going for a Mario aesthetic, but I guess it wasn't scary enough for a spooky skeleton spectacular like Luigi's Mansion 2.
But then, I mean, they've got the cheap skeleton statues here.
Huh. That's a good point, actually, yeah.
They're sort of cheaps. They also sort of look like they've got Shy Guy faces.
I can't deal with inconsistent lore. Just keep it straight, alright? EGAD is already splitting the timelines enough as is. I would be surprised if it turns out that EGAD is Luigi from the future.
That would be terrifying.
That would be terrible writing, is what that would be.
Yes. Also, I like how EGAD is so egotistical that he makes a statue of himself in the garden of this mansion.
Yeah, because he doesn't live here. He's just kind of like co-opted it. He basically came in and spruced the place up a tad, which is not really saying much since he had to abandon it, and it was still in the process of being cleaned when we first saw it in part 1, so... Oh, I think we've got paranormal activity in here.
I'm so glad I've never seen that film.
I thought you liked scary stuff.
I hate horror films and horror games. Like ghosts, but I hate horror.
I'm trying to calculate that shit in my head, but I'm not coming to any reasonable answer.
I'm a mass of contradictions, I know.
Okay, fair enough. Fucking hiders, I swear to God. If I hadn't abandoned my OCD-riddled retake obsession, this game probably would have destroyed me, and it very nearly did the first time I tried to record it.
Oh, I remember that very well.
Yeah, get lost.
It's either this room or the next room where we meet an old friend.
Yeah, let's not give it away, but judging by the big bad who you also saw in the first part, not to give anything away, you can probably guess who we're dealing with here. Also, the very creepy laughter we've been hearing throughout this part.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm probably not going to go out of my way to announce when we're getting treasures, so try and keep an eye on the screen. I know a lot of you just listen to these commentaries, yes, even you. Boo! Halloween playthrough. A little bit of a scare for you there. But, yeah, there you go. You can also use, like, IGN guides and whatnot. They're pretty good for what they are.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've improved since way back in the day.
Ugh, yeah. And what's this thing called? A dumbwaiter?
Something like that, yes.
Food elevator. I like that, it sounds cuter. Whoa, Boo, you look very polygonal right there.
Also very 3D.
Yeah, very 3D. It's as cynical as when they were like throwing plates and whatnot in Bilbo's house in the first Hobbit movie.
The Hobbit. I said the 3D in this game is fantastic.
It's pretty good for what it is. I'm kind of so-so on the concept of 3D in general, but I have the option to turn it off, so I can't really complain.
I mean, I really, really like the 3D on the 3DS. Some games use it far better than others.
Yeah.
Luigi Mansion 2 is definitely one of those that uses it well.
There's a great glitch here, actually, where if you manage to suck off the tablecloth before the boo comes back and the cutscene activates, the frame rate will just go to shit, and you'll just like see the wind from the vacuum, and just the whole thing will be shaking constantly. It's great. Did not mean to pick this up, but it was my fault for opening the vault on the ceiling in the first place. So, boo on me, I guess.
It's very satisfying to see the boos get beat around.
That's a side of you I'm not sure I'm comfortable with, Richard.
I play Bayonetta.
Fair enough, fair enough. Are you just going to keep bringing that up?
Yes,
okay.
I will. I'll also bring up the Wonderful 101 because more people need to play that game.
Okay, fair dues. But much easier to catch than in the first game, because the boos in the first game would go hither and thither throughout rooms in the mansion. Here, for the most part, they kind of stay static, but just easier overall. Just another one of the many downgrades that I will never forgive Luigi's Mansion 2 for.
Well, I have to say, I think that kind of, in that sense, the boos are an improvement in this game, because they don't generally reach the point where they're just going between two rooms and you have to go out and go back in if you're trying to catch them. They're much more kind of focused in a single room. What I can't forgive is the other element of what they did to the boos, which I'm sure we'll get into in the next part.
But for now, back to the lab.
Indeed, I do like the lab. It's a very awesome design.
Don't really see much of it apart from like EGAD's, I guess, control room and the bunker, but it doesn't look that big when you see like the top-down view of the Evershade Valley. Although he is a little guy, he's not exactly going to have guests over for tea.
Well, he doesn't seem like he has that many friends other than Luigi and the ghosts.
Aww, so you made me feel really sad there. Like, even an egotistical prick needs company.
Well, yes, but I think he has more company in, like, Superstar Saga, doesn't he?
No, I just realised I opened myself up massively to be criticised in the exact same way there.
Oh dear, Tom.
This is the multiplayer aspect of the game. It only opens up here because you will need the Darklight device to uncover some stuff in multiplayer, which is surprisingly addicting, so if you have Luigi's Mansion 2, pop online sometime. I'm not saying you'll meet like me and Richie on there for a deathmatch and whatnot, because that's kind of not what multiplayer is about, but it is fun for what it is.
It's also very, 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 very brilliant in what it does.
That's a very throwaway compliment, Richie, but I will take it because it's the end of the part, and all that is left is the filler commentary. Now, I'm not going to be going back to get the boos in the previous levels. I'll probably leave that until the end of the game, where we do the bonus missions. But from now on, we'll be getting boos whenever we can, as we go through the missions. That's it for this part. We'll see you all next time for a sticky situation. See you then.